Hello everyone, this is Fantasy Ask, and welcome back to Vampire Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we had a clan of very hungry vampires, and things took a dark turn because Hazel Pelt, our Nightstalker, went out around the ruins to find some ingredients, some herbs to help preserve the life of our vampires, but he found something else that will definitely preserve our vampires in the afterlife. He found a queen and a litter of 3 kittens, which he lured back to camp, where they were killed and consumed. So we had that. But I, guys, am feeling quite sad today because I feel as though whenever we have something happy happen in the clan, we get like these glimpses of joy, but then they're snatched away from us by one incident or another, and that is exactly the case today in this episode. So let us go to the leader's den to check up on maybe a glimpse of happiness before we get the bad news. So it is currently 11 moons and we are still in Leaf Bear. In the leader's den, we are now neutral with Gossamer clan. Still hostile with Wind Clan and Day Clan. However, I don't know how long this is going to last. With us being under a troublesome leader like Shivering Star, I feel like we are constantly going to be embroiled in war. I literally was checking up on Shivering Star's age and his potential successes to see like when this cat's gonna croak, because I feel like unless, as sad as it is to say, Shivering Star dies, then I think all of the vampires are going to die. For them to live and to thrive, I think we need a leader that is not Grandmaster Shivering Star. But okay, let's go to events and see what's been going on. The battles between Gossamer Clan and Vampire Clan have ceased. The war now finally coming to an end. So the war with Gossamer Clan is over, guys. We don't have vampire hunters, at least from Gossamer Clan, on our backside. We still have hostilities with the 2 other clans, and I feel like very soon we're going to be heading into another war with one of them. For now, though, things are looking better with Gossamer Clan. And then the bad news. Pumpkin Tail was killed by Green Cough. We were kind of worried in the last episode. I would say it's less that I was worried, but we know that Master Burnleaf was worried because he fell in love with Pumpkin Tail. He was feeling protective over her and he was worried that she was now sick and what he would do if sickness kind of took her from him. But I wouldn't say I was concerned or I was thinking too deeply about it, so I got the shock of my life when I skipped a moon and Pumpkin Tail was killed by Green Cough. I feel terrible for Burnleaf. So the past moon, the 4 cats that our clan consumed and Pumpkin Tail have taken their place in Star Clan. Vampire Clan mourns their loss and their clanmates will miss where they had been in their lives. Moments of their lives are shared in stories around the circle of mourners as those that were closest to them take them to their final resting place. So much grief and death has taken its toll on the cats of Vampire Clan. Hazel Pelt is particularly shaken by it. So our Nightstalker, he is feeling, I think, a sense of responsibility over the fact that he maybe didn't do enough to preserve Pumpkin Tail's life. And that's another thing that I think I keep forgetting about Pumpkin Tail and Burnleaf, because when Pumpkin Tail initially got her sprain, then Burnleaf was the Nightstalker who was looking after her. But not long afterwards, Burnleaf was promoted to Master, and then Hazel Pelt took over the duty of Nightstalker, so he was the one looking after Pumpkin Tail and such. So I feel like at this point in time, he would maybe feel a bit discouraged by the fact that under his watch, Pumpkin Tail passed on. Okay, so yeah, our clan has shrunk once more, and now we only have 8 cats. Only have 8 vampires, which is very, very concerning. Let's go check up the medicine cat den. Quiet Flight still has his claw wound, or her claw wound, sorry. Pumpkintail was given plantain as treatment for green cough, but even it said the risks with the condition is going to be lowered. We didn't have anything that, indicated to us it was serious enough to kill her. Rosemary was used for Pumpkintail's body. Pumpkintail was killed by green cough. Quiet Flight was given wild garlic as treatment for claw wound, and Hazelpelt's gathered goldenrod this moon. But the one saving grace in a sense that Hazelpelt has is that even though he could not save Pumpkintail in this life, he knows Pumpkintail is going to be well fed in the next life, and that her power, or in the afterlife I should say, and her power is going to be well fed in the afterlife because the vampires in StarClan, they have the queen and the kids that were sent to them as a constant source of blood and food, right? It is all very dark, but yes, that at least is one thing. Let's check up on their relationships, see if maybe we can get a timeline for what Pumpkintail was up to before she passed on. Blue Jay gets hit with waves of envy whenever Dusty Kid is laughing with friends. Burnleaf, Master Burnleaf, and Lightsong are joking around together, but the jokes are becoming targeted. Master Burnleaf thinks Blue Jay is very helpful. When Master Burnleaf gets sick for a few days, Twilight Fade brings him yummy prey and nest bedding. Okay, so Burnleaf got a little bit sick temporarily, and we know that Twilight Fade has been developing some admiration and a bit of a crush on Master Burnleaf. So he was tending to Burnleaf, obviously because Pumpkintail was too sick to. Twilight Fade sees Dusty Kid be kind to one of Twilight Fade's friends. Grandmaster Shivering Star runs into Blue Jay at the medicine den. They both have a tummy ache from two halves of the same prey. Grandmaster Shivering Star knows that the advice Blue Jay gave him will be helpful. Lightsong learns that Master Burnleaf is scared of thunder too. Quiet Flight overheard Blue Jay spreading a hurtful rumor. Quiet Flight got a weird look on her face when Hazelpelt approached her. A clanmate accuses Hazelpelt of copying one of Dusty Kit's jokes. Dusty Kit and Hazelpelt notice a cloud is shaped like a mouse. And that's all we have for events. So let's cut the recording here and continue with the cat list. Apparently, this is so sad, but apparently Pumpkintail was way too sick to actually interact with any of the cats in camp. She was probably holed up in the medicine cat den and passed away there. Oh, Pumpkintail! I feel like Burnleaf would be distraught for sure, and then he was probably sick, so maybe he didn't get to tend to Pumpkintail in her final moments, and that would probably weigh on his conscience as well. Okay, let's move on to the cat list. Okay, it is time for us to continue with the cat list. Starting off with loyalties, we have actually had some changes. So guys, Master Burnleaf and Hazelpelt have joined all the other cats in the clan in becoming loyalists to Grandmaster Shivering Star, and you'd be wondering why this is the case with the deaths we've been having, and the issues with hunger and such, and Shivering Star not really being a good cat for us to exist peacefully. He's constantly leading us into troublesome situations, being a troublesome cat himself. And I think what it comes down to is Shivering Star is not a cat that is going to take accountability for certain things. And from the beginning of his leadership, I've kind of seen him lay blame on the vampire hunters for hunting them, for isolating them, cornering them. And I think in trying to lift some of the guilt that maybe Hazelpelt feels towards not being able to save Pumpkintail, and Burnleaf feels for not being there for Pumpkintail, instead of blaming Leaf Bear, instead of blaming the lack of prey to her sickness, I think Shivering Star is going to lay blame to the vampire hunters, that anything and everything that happens in the clan, the situations that they are forced into, is because of constantly being targeted by the vampire hunters. So I think within Burnleaf and Hazelpelt, that would have lifted some of their own weight and guilt, but also I think stoked a fire inside them of, the vampire hunters having to pay for what they've done and the vampire hunters being at fault. And because their perspective has changed in that way, I think when they look at Shivering Star, they now see that, or they feel as though Shivering Star is doing the right thing and standing up for the cats and standing up for the vampires against the vampire hunters. So their perspectives have been skewed by what Shivering Star is saying, and obviously they're taking this on because they're emotionally vulnerable right now. But I think that's why, at this point in time, Shivering Star has the loyalty of his entire clan behind him. So okay, we have that done. In terms of relationships, there was only one big change that I noticed. It was with Burnleaf. And Burnleaf, guys, now hates Lightsong. So we do have internal enemies in the clan. Burnleaf has now become enemies with Lightsong. And I don't know if you guys remember, during events, he and Lightsong were joking around with each other, and the jokes turned kind of vicious. And I think Lightsong, who is, a charismatic cat, but also having trained under Twilight Fate, she is quite erratic and entitled, I think, in the way she maybe behaves. She must have been making jokes about the situation between Burnleaf and Twilight Fade and Pumpkintail. And she must have said something to Burnleaf, which he found very disrespectful to Pumpkintail and the love that he began to have for her, or even now has for her. So I think that's probably what got him ticked off. And then Pumpkintail, having died not long after that, I think has made him really, really dislike Lightsong, because she's in a way tainted the memories that he has, or the relationship, I should say. She's tainted the relationship he had with Pumpkintail, with talk about this love triangle between them. So that's kind of the big change that I saw in relationships. Now, obviously we know that the clan, with the death of Pumpkintail, needs another match. So Grandmaster Shivering Star has decided that Burnleaf is now going to be matched to Blue Jay. And I don't know how Burnleaf is going to interpret this. We did see in events that he and Blue Jay were getting along quite well, so I'm hoping that is going to be, good for them. But Burnleaf, he still hasn't gotten over Pumpkintail, and he was in love with Pumpkintail. So I don't know if this is going to be good or bad for his relationship with Blue Jay. Now, Blue Jay herself, I don't think, is romantically inclined to any of the cats. Just a quick check. I don't think she is. No, she's not. So this is going to be her first romantic experience, but it's going to be with a cat who's had feelings for Twilight Fate, a cat who is now going to have his whisperings done by Twilight Fate, right? And a cat who has already been in love with someone else. So let's go ahead and see if these two are compatible. So this, we're not going to break up because it's in the afterlife. But Burnleaf, he is going to be paired up with Blue Jay now. It's going to be matched with Blue Jay. And they are incompatible. Him being lonesome, her being charismatic. She's the complete opposite of his personality. But I wonder how this is going to end up. So there we go. He's obviously already, he can have kits. I need to make sure that Blue Jay can have kits. But I think both of them, just like Burnleaf and Pumpkintail had, it would start off as an official arrangement, a formal arrangement, an official match. We'll see how it goes. Burnleaf, just a reminder as to his genetics, has green eyes and single stripe. Blue Jay has cobalt eyes and a goatee. And in the descriptors, Burnleaf is a long-furred dorsal striped dark ginger and white tom, and Blue Jay is a dark brown tabby she-cat. So I think they would make some interesting offspring as well. So Blue Jay, yes, I've already checked, wonderful. They've been paired up. So now they are going to go inside the ruins where they will listen to the whispers from Twilight Fade. So let's see how this goes. I mean, obviously with the 2 bars of romance, they're considering each other after having been matched. But I don't know how Burnleaf's gonna feel. because, you know, he's still in love and his mate's, or he's not his mate, but his first love has just passed on. Okay. Well, trust, comfort, respect, and romance has increased a little bit and dislike has decreased. So Burnleaf, I think, sees the practicality in, you know, Blue Jay being his next match because he has gotten along with her in the past. And Blue Jay, I think, is liking Burnleaf as a choice for her. I think they both feel similarly in that, you know, they've gotten along with each other in the past. So practically for the clan, this feels like a good move. But, you know, we'll have to see whether or not they're amenable going forward. Because Burnleaf is still colored by his grief. Okay, so now that we've gotten that done, let's go ahead and see what everyone is doing for the day. Grandmaster Shivering Star is repairing one of the camp walls. Master Burnleaf is feeling a bit anxious after having been around so many cats at the last gathering. Now we know that the gatherings, it's basically the vampires sneaking off to the place where the vampire hunters gather and spying on them, listening in on their conversation. So obviously Burnleaf would feel very anxious being around so many vampire hunters. Hazelpelt is making new nests. Twilight Fade is feeling quite lazy. Blue Jay took a nap in the clearing and woke up under a blanket of snow. Quiet Flight spends time watching fish in the nearby river. Lightsong is thinking about how awful kitty pet food must taste. And Dusty Kit is whining about the cold. And that's what we have for the cat list. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with patrols. Okay, let's resume our patrols. We currently have 32.3 prey, and we only need 19, so we don't have to worry about hunting of food this time around. We'll send off our Nightstalker Hazelpelt first off to see what he manages to find. It's not finding fresh juniper that's the problem. As an evergreen plant, juniper is known to grow reliably even in the cold seasons. The problem is that juniper grows in large shrubs sometimes large enough to be literal trees. Climbing in these slippery conditions is a disaster just waiting to happen. Proceed. At least he doesn't have to dig through the snow for these leaves. Hazelpelt sighs, slowly and carefully snipping off juniper among the tree's branches. So juniper was gathered, which is great, and now we're going to have our patrol of these 4 cats. Lightsong, Blue Jay, Master Burnleaf, who hates Lightsong and has been newly matched with Blue Jay, and Grandmaster Shivering Star. So let's see what they get up to. It starts snowing soon after the patrol sets out, trying to bring back something, anything, for the fresh kill pile. Proceed. Despite the snow, the patrol manages to hunt successfully, lurking where the songbirds forage. Only a couple, but in this season, that's more than enough to count as a success. As Grandmaster Shivering Star leads the way home, a sense of security and competence drives them onwards. A small amount of prey is brought to camp. Okay, and now we have 48.3. So that is what we managed to get done today, guys. It started off really rough, obviously because we had the death of Pumpkin Tail, but we do have the start of something new between Master Burnleaf and Blue Jay. The war has also ended, so the clan does have a little bit of respite. Hopefully, they can take this break to kind of build back up before they are thrown into what I have no doubt is going to be yet another war. But okay guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.